神羅転生
What's up everybody, it's your boy Hokage here, welcome to the video. This is actually the third upload of the day. In case you missed the first two, I'm basically gonna have the second upload at the end screen of this video. So like you can normally watch this review and then at the end screen you just click the video, which is going to be the second upload, and then at the end screen of the second upload I have the first upload, and none of these videos are connected to each other, so like the order in which you watch, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Both videos are connected. Well, both videos talk about in both of these videos I talk about the latest Boruto ending, which is Boruto ending 12. The ending made its debut in episode 139. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the details in regards to that ending here because again I have two videos on it, but just to quickly comment on the ending as a whole, I like it. I like the song. Is it my favorite ending? No, not even close. But one thing that I appreciate about Boruto endings is that they're all kind of like unique. They have like unique different type of music, different like color patterns or whatever. So as I said, I like the ending. And yeah, without any further ado, I can start talking about the actual episode, which is Boruto episode 139. Now, last week we had a break, so that's why this episode aired now and not last week. Back then I couldn't really find the reason behind the absence, but then behind like the 1 week hiatus, but then people told me that it's probably because of like New Year's, the holidays and this and that, but whatever. Now this episode, I actually like it. Is it a spectacular episode? No, but I actually like it, and I will explain. This is the first episode that focuses on Team 40. Now, it doesn't explore all three members of Team 40 like in depth because that would be very hard to pull off in like 20 minutes. But overall, we find out more information about them because before this episode, whenever you would see these characters, you would just see them and they would just kind of exist. But now you at least know something about them, particularly about Enko and about her situation with that summoning thing or whatever, which I'll get to in a bit. But basically what the Boruto series does, first of all, the anime, first of all, it has magnificent side character development. It focuses, it gives a lot of attention to side characters, but characters such as Team 40 members, they're like side characters, right? So it's not like these characters are ever gonna feature again. Maybe sometime, but I wouldn't be surprised if they never feature again. Just like with like Team 25, we got an episode about Team 25 as well. If you guys don't remember, that's the episode with the Kakashi fanboy kid. Again, same thing with Team 25. They might not even like, we're probably gonna like see them in the background, maybe making a comment or something like that, but it's not like they're gonna be relevant to the plot, and it's not like they're ever gonna appear in the manga. At least that's my assumption, and I'm pretty sure 99% of you would agree with me. But at least once we see them, we're gonna have something that we know about them, right? And I appreciate that. In a way, Boruto is expanding its cast or whatever. Again, I know these characters aren't super relevant, but it's refreshing. It's something different, and I appreciate it. The Boruto manga is monthly. It has 40 pages though. Naruto chapters used to have like around 20 pages. So realistically, that's like pretty much 2 Naruto chapters a month. But during Naruto, used to be 4 Naruto chapters a month, right? On top of that, with at times spacing is kind of slow. So when you combine all these factors, you gotta acknowledge that the anime has to produce a lot of anime only content so that it doesn't catch up to the manga, and the writers are doing this in a lot of unique ways, different ways all the time. And it's not like in Boruto we have too many like flashback arcs or flashbacks in general. We constantly get something new, and in this episode it was Team 40. I wonder if we're gonna get any other individual episode. When I say individual episode, I mean episode that focuses on one of like Boruto's academy teams or whatever. I can't remember how many of them there were. Are all of them explored officially right now? Doesn't really matter. But the point is, I respect this episode for that. Again, it's not a spectacular episode or anything like that. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna go and rewatch it or whatever. But I respect it. Also, one thing that I liked about this episode is that it teaches us something new, and this is something that the Boruto anime does a lot. In general, we have many episodes like this. Sorry, episodes like this which have like many life lessons, whether it's overcoming anxiety, with the whole thing with Metal E, whether it's suicide, because I don't know if you guys remember, but many episodes ago I actually have a rant about that on YouTube. We got an episode about that guy who wanted to commit suicide, but then Boruto's words, I guess, changed him. The reason why I did a rant is because I thought it was poorly executed, but still the idea is there. Whether you like the execution or not, you can't deny that the Boruto anime focused in that particular episode on mental health, right? And it wanted to give us a lesson, right? That suicide isn't the solution, right? And things like that. And the lesson of this episode was, and at least this is how I see it, that well, basically, the episode is trying to teach us that loneliness can seriously fuck up a person's mind. Of course, in real life, none of your friends are gonna, I don't know, have like monster arms or whatever. But like, in case they're different than you, whether it's like, they're like sexual orientation, race, or whatever, just because somebody's different, like, you're not supposed to be like afraid of them. And of course, when I say afraid, I don't mean it in like the Naruto slash Boruto sense where you're afraid for your life, but you don't need to be like creeped out when you see them or anything like that, because it's gonna make them feel lonely and discriminated against, which can have serious mental consequences. It can even lead to depression and all these things. Because I mean, you saw Enko in this episode; she was pretty depressed. Now, her friends were genuinely scared. Like, if in real life, if you see a person with monster arms or whatever, you're supposed to be scared. All right, you're supposed to run away through mental health and being a good person. Because at that point, if somebody has monster arms, you're supposed to run away. Okay, but of course, that's not gonna happen in real life. But yeah, just the fact that there's a mini lesson in this episode, I appreciate it. Just because me and most of my audience are like in their late teens slash early 20s, just because of that fact doesn't deny the fact that a lot of kids are watching this anime as well, especially like in Japan and in Asia or whatever. So this is a very important for the younger generations as well. This is a very important lesson for the younger generations as well. This episode pretty much says that loneliness is a messed up thing, and it can be pretty impactful on one's mood and mental state. So again, I appreciate this episode mainly for two reasons. The first one is that it's refreshing, it's new, and now we at least know something about these characters. It's not like they're, excuse me, ghosts on the screen, right? That's the number one reason, and the number two reason is the lesson that this episode offered. And Boruto does this a lot with these like mini lessons, mini life lessons or whatever. Ibiki was in this episode. If you guys read the manga, you know that he appears in the Mujina Bandits arc, and the Mujina Bandits arc is the second major arc of the Boruto manga, and the anime adaptation is confirmed for January 2020, so it's gonna start within a few weeks. And just seeing Ibiki here, I mean, we already know that the Mujina Bandits arc is starting, but yeah, it's even more, it's confirming it even more. Like, yeah, the Mujina Bandits, they're literally just around the corner. Like, after the next episode, which if you saw the preview, it's gonna focus on Inojin. It's Mujina Bandits arc time, guys, and I'm pretty excited for that. I liked Ibiki in this episode. We saw a little like, I don't want to say like gentle side of him today, but you know what I mean. Especially like near the end, I liked that. Again, this episode was pretty refreshing, even a couple of funny moments, and Sarada giving psychology lectures for free. That was cool. Overall, a fun little slice of life slash life lesson episode. The rating I'm gonna give it is gonna be 8 out of 10. The reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is simply because a lot of it was like put into one episode. The other two characters weren't explored as much, although that wasn't the purpose of the episode. I still want to point it out because the way the Boruto anime flows, it doesn't seem like these characters are going to be too relevant in the future, right? So, but still, I appreciate the little like mini story with with Enko and her friends or whatever. Again, I like the episode, but I can't give it more than an 8 because it's not perfect. And it really, writing something like that in only 20 minutes, it's pretty difficult to write a perfect episode like that. Again, 8 out of 10 for me. That was your boy Tono Hokage. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.